Hi gang, glad you're with us here at Fairways and Greens. This week I have the privilege of being in Lexington, Kentucky, where I've been a part of one of the great charity events you'll find anywhere in the country, the Children's Charity Classic. It's been going on for 31 years, and during that time, catch this, they've raised over $10 million for the kids of Central Kentucky. All the money that's been raised stays right here in the community. It's a wonderful week, full of fun, full of laughter, and full of fundraising for all the right reasons. It also draws one of the strongest celebrity feels to the Greenbrier Country Club and Andover Country Club here in Lexington. Let's meet some of the celebrities now, get their thoughts, their feelings about this great event and about the greatest of all games. You get to travel a lot.
Yes.
When you're not playing in charity events like this, when you're not on the road doing brilliant music,
Oh.
where do you like to go? If you had to pay to play golf, where would you go in the United States?
In the United States, I'd go to Bandon Dunes. I'd go to Pebble Beach, but I'd play Spyglass. And if I had time, I'd play Pebble. But if I had to choose, I'd play Spyglass first.
What do you look for when you go anywhere other than the obvious great golf there? What do you look for there that makes it a complete experience?
A really ultimate challenge in golf. Not a 6-hour round like a lot of the TBC Sawgrass is a great course, but because they just let anybody on there, and the price isn't really cost prohibitive, it can be a really long, frustrating day. So there's that, and Eucalia is really important to me. Just even though I don't really focus on it, I don't focus on it when it's happening, just to be surrounded by the sounds of the sea. And in that area, like for instance in Bandon and in Pebble, it's more cloudy than it's not. A little rain comes down. There's something about that, something about the experience of being in places like that. Kapalua is also a place that's fantastic for that. Certain holes, they're in these rainy areas, and it always rains there. And you're in the sunshine, and then you go around the bend, and you go for a couple of holes, and there's a cloud sitting on top of you, dropping in little sprinkles. It's something really beautiful about that. And you just take time to after your crappy shot, you just take time to look around and say, well, you know, there are things more important than how bad I am.
What, besides golf, when you go to those places, what kind of things do you do?
I'm a foodie, so I like going to places, preferably places where there are little inns that are off campus. Because a lot of times they of course want you to stay on campus. So you just do a little internet research, or you talk to some friends, and you find the places. And so one of the things I would do, for instance, if I was at Pebble, is that I would just take that hour drive or whatever it is and head over to Napa, or just some of the wineries that are on the way between San Francisco and Monterey. Actually, there's some pretty good wineries in Monterey. There are places you can go, and I found restaurants and places. I mean, those are the things I love to do. I would love to be able to say I could get a great massage after a round, but that's wildly inconsistent. It's just you can't predict the outcome of that, and so I avoid that, unfortunately. Although my body could actually use it at the time.
Consistency of massage.
It's not good. It's not good because until we have a more informed consumer base, this is the same thing with a lot of things. Some people just think this is what kings do. They get people to rub oil on them and play soft music. So they come in and they play soft music and rub oil on you, and they're just touching you. And they're not doing anything medicinal or therapeutic. And God, I hate that. I mean, I stop them. I just say, here's your money. Get the blank out. Get the cuss out of here.
All right, so we know that if Brad's going somewhere, we got to make sure we set up.
I don't try to do it. It's just you can't predict it.
No,
how do you know?
You
know, how do you know? You tell somebody you want deep tissue, and they say, "Oh, I do that," and then they get in and they start touching you, and it's dainty, and it's like, "What do you?" So it's just a waste of money most times, unless I absolutely know from someone whose reputation I respect in those matters. It's out of the question. So music, I play a lot of music in my room anyway. Books, you know. No, I'm not a unlike a lot of my golfing friends, I'm not a play 36 holes and hang out at the bar kind of guy. if I'm going to be getting away from my family, I'm going to try to utilize the time with a lot of silence and reflection and stuff that I think people need on a regular basis.
Speaking of that, the one thing that always interests me about musicians, people who grew up around music, I often have tunes in my head going through. You obviously spend a lot of your time around music. Do you feel music? Do you hear music while you're playing? Do you have a rhythm that you play to when you play golf?
Sometimes I do. When I need it, I invent one. And I find a song that's just current in my head and I use it. Lately, because I didn't work a lot this year, so I've had a chance to practice just as much as play. So I'm starting to get a sense of how my golf swing, the pace of my golf swing. I'm not so quick to the top anymore. But when I get really quick, I start singing songs.
Is there a particular one you found? You know, they said Sam Snead, when he realized he had certain songs that were to his rhythm, is when he started winning on a regular basis. Yeah. Which I always thought was pretty interesting.
Well, I have a fairly good internal sense of rhythm. It's just hard for me to know. The thing that's amazing about golf and athletics in general, well, I guess it's the same in saxophone, is you do weird things and you don't know you're doing them. And you know something's wrong, but you can't figure out what it is. And now I'm in a place, because I've had to live with it and I've had people point it out, I can tell when I'm getting too quick, because mostly it's through recall after the swing, and I see where, like, it's, you know, it just killed a snake, and then I say, what the hell was that? And then I think about that I didn't pause at the top, that I got anxious and I got too quick. But in the old days, like a song like the famous melody from Carmen, dum bum ba bum ba bum 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 boom bing boom 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 bing boom 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 bing. Yeah, I never try to use words. A lot of people use words, but rhythm isn't implicit in words. It's not. It's implicit in the music. The words are just on a page. And if you can't sing the melody, then the words almost have no. So I just use rhythms, you know, like the rhythm from Bolero, you know, bum, boom, bum, boom, boom, you know, but not the melody. The melody's useless in that regard. But the central rhythmic motif that goes throughout the entire piece, you can use that.
Now here's the other question I have. You do a lot of jazz, which obviously is kind of not as in a particular rhythm to most of us. Well, can that mess up your swing? If you get into a jazz riff in your head, all of a sudden,
no, I know what to listen to. I know what to listen for. I think that because most of us are informed of music because of pop music, and pop music, we listen to all the stuff that's on the top. And this is an old thing I used to do with my friends, because, you know, I say, well, you know this Led Zeppelin song, you know, sing Black Dog. You know, I say, okay, sing the bass line. Well, Black Dog's tricky because it's more like a blues riff, but there are a lot of songs, you know, the Iron Maker or a Beatles tune. I say, sing the bass line. They don't hear the bass line. They hear the melody, they hear the words. So if you're listening to jazz and you use that mindset, you just hear all this stuff going on. Yeah, who the hell wants to swing to that? But if you're listening to the bass and the drums, it's going ding 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 ding. You know, I can use that.
All right, those are some great tips for me today. Thanks.
Don't try them. It'll kill you. It's no good for you.